bigger question is where is your money going? And I think a lot of us don't think in that sense. What we think about is, ooh, I got money in my hands. Ooh, I got this. Ooh, I want to pay that. Ooh, I want to buy this. Ooh, I want to buy that. And we never truly take a step back and kind of leave the money where it is and make a strategic plan on where it should go first. And the reason I'm saying this is because I've been there. We love cash. We love to have money. We love to put money in our own bank account, especially when we work for ourselves, but we don't really take a step back to really think, where would the money be best used in the business? We don't really want to talk about that because we have all this money in our hands and our hands are on fire and we're trying to make sure that we get a little bit of peace because we've worked hard the last week. So we don't really focus on how we spend it. So if you guys did pay yourself, do you plan on paying yourself this week? And I think that's a valid question because a lot of us don't look past our 30 days. We are in the middle of the month. We know we have rent coming up on the 1st. We know we have credit card bills that are due, cell phone bills that are due, electricity is due, rent is due, all of these things. But we don't really plan about how to use our money consistently and with a plan. And I think this is something that is true to heart to a lot of us because we get discouraged in our industry because we don't have enough money to survive. We're not discouraged about what we do. We're not discouraged about changing skin. We're not discouraged about any of that. But we're discouraged because we truly just don't know how to make money and manage it. And when I say manage it, I truly mean making the best decision for what's needed in the business at this time. If you were a true business aesthetic owner and understood the power of your retail, you would spend all $1,000 on your retail. Your markup on your retail is huge. When you have more than one item on your retail shelf, it is guaranteed to sell. What you have to do as the esthetician is be comfortable enough to sell the item to the client. Half of your sale is having it on the shelf. Can I get an amen? Because some of us don't have it on the shelf. And when you tell your client, oh, it's going to come in next week, do you want to go ahead and pay for it now? No. Because I wouldn't go somewhere and case in point, I wouldn't go somewhere and say, okay, I want to go ahead and buy it, not knowing that it's going to come in next week. I'm not going to spend my money. I'm not going to do that. Retail will always be a challenge. To me, retail was never a challenge. It always became easier when I understood that retail is what's going to have my clients come back. They want it. They want to see it in use. They want to feel it on their skin. They want to see when you're putting it on the facial. They want to rub it the way you put it onto their skin as well. So knowing that, why not have it on the shelf? And then the clients that come in after you're sold out, they're not going to buy to wait for it to come in. You've already lost the sale. The minute that your retail placeholder is empty, you've lost the sale. And that's not only in our business, that's in the retail world. If it's empty, you are losing money. And buying product can't be from your emotional state. It can't happen. You can't be stressed out about it. You can't be upset because you're putting money into retail. That is how you make your money. Half of your money should be coming from retail. And then the estheticians that tell me that they don't retail at all, I look at them like, how are you making money? I'm sorry. I'm not going to just make money off of services. I want to make more money on retail than I do on services anyway. But how are you surviving? Most of my money comes from retail. So when you have that kind of understanding about your money, then when you start paying yourself, you're not paying yourself because a lot of us are not paying ourselves because, again, it's emotional. When you start talking about taking a draw, and I can tell you from experience, when I take a draw, when I used to take a draw, I used to feel so bad because I was like, dang, I'm going to have to put this back in like 2 days. So I don't even know why I'm taking a draw. Because something's going to come up, a bill's going to be due, or I'm going to have to figure out, how to put it back because I need to write a check. It became stressful when I was taking a draw because it wasn't regular. I maybe would take a draw once a month. I would keep all my tips. Of course, everybody has a tip jar. but I was not giving myself money on a regular basis. So that in turn turned to stress. When I would see people, when they would cancel, oh, honey, it was over. When a client canceled on me, honey, I was mad. And it became so blatant to people that they were just like, ooh, what's wrong with you? Instead of it being a relaxing place that they would come to, knowing I could help them relax, I was stressed because I knew a bill was due. And I'm telling you, it started off really slow. So I would do like $50. And then I would go up to like $100. And then I would go to $250. I mean, it really was based off of the business ebbs and flows. But guess what? I had money. I wasn't mad. And then I started really thinking about it. I'm like, okay, so there's 4 weeks in a month. Rent is $1,000 at home. So if I paid myself $250 a week, at least I have rent done. If I make, $400 a week in tips, I could be able to pay for groceries and the babysitter. That's kind of how I started breaking down how I could really survive and do it very small. We come big picture. We think that we need to be making $50,000 or $60,000 a year, and it doesn't work like that. You got to start at the bottom. You got to start to crawl before you walk. So when I started breaking down how much it would cost for me to survive if I paid myself, I kept it small for about a year. And then when I looked at the end of the year and said, oh, wow, I actually made some good money. So in January, I'm going to give myself a raise. I deserve a raise. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a raise. So I made my raise where I was paying myself every week. So it went from $250 to $500 every week. And that's how you build your empire. You have to take care of yourself first. So, when you have something that is truly unique and will set you apart, people will come. I've always been a believer of setting myself apart. I don't want to be like every esthetician. That's not my goal. My goal is not to be like every esthetician. My goal is not to have my clients come in and say, oh, okay, I can get that too. Or, oh, you have that too. Never in all of my years have I ever had any clients say, oh, I'm getting that too. I got that like I got over there. None of them will ever say that. It's understanding that when you truly understand these and offering things that your clients can't just go anywhere to get is what builds you up. And I like to, and I'm not saying it to toot my own horn. I'm really saying it because that is the secret of most estheticians' success. The ones that are doing really well are doing things that not everyone else does. And they're doing them well. And that's the key that I try to explain to a lot of estheticians, especially new estheticians. You have to perfect your craft. You can't expect to walk out and do a 10-minute Brazilian from school. Not going to happen. You're not going to be able to do brows flawless coming out of school. There's people who have taken years to figure out things. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing where if you are great at facials, then you need to come up with the signature treatment that no one else can do but you. If you're great at waxing, you need to be able to offer that service and be consistent with it and make sure your client's level of comfort is great, but that every time you do that, they get the same level of service. You got to keep it consistent. If you retail, you need to retail the hell out of it and make sure that there's products on the shelf for you to sell. You got to do all of those things together. It can't just be because you have a spa name and you have a spa on the door that people are just going to come in. You got to be truly confident in what we do. And it's just like going to school. We did thousands of facials until we got confident in our massage techniques, confident in how we cleansed, confident in how we applied moisturizer, confident around the eyes, how we went around the eyes. All of that takes time. Same thing with waxing. Same thing if you were spray tanning. Same thing, with makeup application. All of it takes time and practice. So I'm going to end our conversation about money because I think we're going to come back to it again because I think there's so many different facets of the way we spend our money, especially in our business, that we don't talk about. That's always fascinating to me because we don't understand we need to spend money on what makes us money. And if you understand that, then you'll go a lot farther than the knee-jerk response of when you're out.